guys, happy Wednesday, and it better be a freaking happy Wednesday, because this whole week so far has been a stressful joke. I've been trying to make this update video since Sunday. I've kind of hinted at things in the video before, but every time I try to get into it, I'd forget stuff, or it wasn't resolved, or I'd get upset all over again. So I just I think I can talk about everything now without getting super stressed, even though right now I am stressed. I just dropped off little dude at summer school, and that's not completely resolved, all the issues behind that, but I was finally able to get some stuff taken care of to where he could successfully start. He's only missed 2 days. So let me just start from the beginning. Okay, so I mentioned that I had a breakdown on Saturday. And I don't want another one, but I mentioned that I had a breakdown on Saturday. And it all started from my worrying about his lab work. Okay, so I had been worried about his lab work. And I couldn't get any information from any doctor until Monday. So I was sitting on that, okay? I'd been sitting on that. And then Saturday I wake up to a notification that Caleb had summer school beginning Monday. I received a text message on Saturday that my son had to start summer school on Monday, and that if he needed transportation, I was going to have to register him for transportation. But I had already gotten ahead of the game, because when school let out, I looked at his final grades, and I kind of suspected that summer school might be required based on the final grade in one of his classes. So I had already started calling the school, emailing the school, counselors, principals, teachers, anybody who could give me a definitive yes, he's going to need summer school or not. Never got any response, never got any feedback, never got crap. So here we are, Saturday, the weekend before summer school is to start, and I get this email saying that he either failed a STAR test or he failed a class. But they didn't specify which, so I don't know what my kid is going for. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll find out Monday. Let me go on ahead and register him for school bus, which I had been trying to do for 2 weeks as well, because I knew the two were a pair. Summer school, transportation go together. Plus, the transportation department had been sending notifications and emails to me saying, if your scholar requires summer school, registration for transportation is only open until June 4th. Do it now, do it now. So I started trying to register him for bus and trying to figure out what was going on with summer school for 2 weeks. No response from anybody, no response from the district. When I attempted to register him for transportation, his name stayed on pending, pending, pending. Not approved, not rejected, pending, pending, pending. And according to the little instructional video on the website for transportation, it says if your student's name says pending, then something's not matching. The school's information and the information you're entering in isn't matching. I'm like, bull crap, because he's been riding the bus for 2 friggin' years, and I've never, nothing's never not matched. So I kept trying. Well, now that I know he absolutely needs summer school, I got to get this transportation situation done, because I can't drop him off and pick him up. If I drop him off in the morning, I'll be late for work, and if I pick him up after work, he'll be out there for 3 hours waiting for me to get there. So I tried and tried, just like I had tried for the last 2 weeks, and nothing is coming of it. So on Monday, okay, I have to call his doctors, I have to call the school, I have to call transportation, and it all piled up on top of each other. So that Saturday, I put a plan in my head for Monday, and I tell myself, girl, don't trip. You can't do anything about it right now. Just wait until Monday. You're going to have a relaxing day. Little dude is supposed to go with his dad. You're going to be fine. So I get up and I make the video that I made for you guys at 8:20 in the morning. And then I putter around in the yard and do a couple of things. just trying to relax, trying to veg out. No, little dude is going to go with his dad. So I'm going to take advantage of that time alone. And I'm going to yell, cry, scream, whatever I need to do to desahogarme, just to get it all out. Well, 12 o'clock rolls around. 12:30, 1 o'clock. He usually sleeps until 1 o'clock, okay? He stays up till 4, 5, 6 in the morning. He'll sleep till around 1 o'clock on a Saturday, even if his dad is going to pick him up. So I didn't think anything of it. I busied myself. And then 2 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, well, gosh, what time did he go to sleep? I really don't want to wake him up. The arrangement was that he's to call his dad when he wakes up, and his dad isn't calling, bothering me, asking, is he awake? Is he awake? I'm supposed to pick him up. None of that is happening, so maybe he just decided he doesn't want to go. I don't want to interrupt his sleep. His sleep is good, right? At 3:30, I realize it's too quiet up there. He hasn't come down. So I go up there, and he's still knocked out. When I tell you my anxiety went from 0 to a million, I immediately thought fatigue is one of the first symptoms of the LUCA word, of the C word. And there I go. He's never slept till 3:30. Oh my gosh, his red blood cell count is so high, and now look at him, he's exhausted. This is a symptom. There I go, there I go. There goes the anxiety, there goes the anxiety, there goes the anxiety. So I wake him up and tell him, get ready. It's 3:30, guys. I go back downstairs, he comes down, he says, I don't think I want to go, it's too late. You guys, when I tell you, my stomach dropped. My immediate thought was, no, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be gone. I need this day to just completely explode. I need this day to completely, just vent. I need this day for me. I need this day to get out all that anxiety, all that fear, all that. I need this day for me. I don't need to be on mom duty. I don't. I need to just release all this nonsense. And now he's going to be here. So I'm trying to convince him to go. Like, are you sure? Because I don't have anything planned. I was just going to put it around in the yard. I don't have any plans to go anywhere. I'm sure. And I internally got angry. Like, no, why? I need a break. I need that time to myself. So I started getting angry. And then anger turned to guilt. Like, really? You're mad that your kid wants to stay home? Like, so it's just this barrage of emotions, and it's stacking up and stacking up and piling up and piling up, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my chest. I can feel the anxiety rising. So now it's 3:30. He's already missed a meal. He's missed a shake. I need to get this kid fed. I suggest a couple of things. I'm not really hungry, Mom. I mean, I just woke up. I'm not really hungry. But my anxiety is so peaked. I'm like, but you need to eat. You've already missed a meal. You've already missed a snack. You've already missed a shake. I said, you need to eat something. Well, I'm not really hungry. I'm not really hungry. And I said, you weren't even supposed to be here. Please don't give me a hard time. I need you to have a meal. You weren't even supposed to be here. So I don't need to be worried about this. I need you to eat. So, and then I felt bad. As soon as I said it, I'm like, stop that. Don't say that. You're not even supposed to be here. Don't say that. So I made him something to eat. He ate. And then now I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do I do? Do I take him somewhere? Do we go somewhere? My body was hurting as well. I was in pain. My heel, my body, I was in pain as well. So I'm like, so now my day is completely jacked up because he doesn't want to go with his dad. And I'm telling you, I'm feeling this resentment. I'm feeling this anger. I'm feeling this frustration about it. And then 2 other times, I don't even know what he did. I don't know what he did or what he asked for or whatever. The anxiety was so high in my chest. He said or did something or asked for something, and I said again, dude, you weren't even supposed to be here. And again, I'm like, stop saying that. In turn, I'm like, stop saying that. More guilt. And then one of the last things he said, I think he said he needed something. He doesn't need it. He wanted something. And usually we're out in the street, right? But I had already told him that we weren't going to do anything today. I hadn't had anything planned. He said he needed something, or could we go look for something? And again, the third time, even more harsh than the second time, you weren't even supposed to be here. And I caught myself and I said, you know what? I said, I'm sorry. I said, but you may want to spend time up in your room today because I'm just stressed out about a lot of stuff right now. I got a lot on my mind, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. This little boy said, it's okay, I'm used to it. I had to go outside, and I started crying. Because I'm already feeling like the world's worst mom, telling my kid, you're not even supposed to be here. Making him possibly feel unwelcome in his own home. What are you doing? What kind of garbage parent are you? I was already feeling guilty. And for him to say, it's okay, I'm already used to it. I had to go outside. So I went outside with my plants, and I started crying. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to this kid? Just horrible. So I stayed out there for a little while, and then I came in, and I said, again, I need you to understand, I don't plan on doing anything but some things that I need to do around the house. If you want to get out of the house, if you're going to be bored, you need to call your dad. He's like, no, it's okay. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here. So I can't remember parts of the day, because when I get into these emotional states, I don't know if it's a blackout. I don't know what it is, but I can't remember part of it. Something set me off. I just felt completely overwhelmed. I felt completely overstimulated. I just felt like I was going to explode. And I've had a leak in the kitchen sink. Okay, I've had a leak in the kitchen sink for a while. We just fixed it a few months ago, and I have another leak in the kitchen sink. And unless you position the little handle a certain way, it continues to drip. Well, I wasn't in the mood, okay? I was so overstimulated, every sound was magnified. So that drip, 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 as I was doing whatever I was doing in the kitchen, was super magnified. Caleb's movement was super magnified. The cat's meowing was super magnified. And I started feeling my chest was going to explode. I couldn't breathe. And the drip, 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 I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to rip this friggin' faucet off of this sink. And I went to mush the thingy down to like just stop the drip. And the friggin' handle, the faucet broke off in my hand. I was that angry, guys. It friggin' broke off in my hand. When that happened, I swear everything went slow motion. I pull up the handle, I look at it, and I started bawling. When I tell you, a guttural came out of me, and my kid is at the dining table witnessing this. I lost it. I'd already been crying outside over mommy guilt. Now another problem. Now something else I have to deal with, because now there's a stream of water coming out of my faucet. Like, oh my gosh. I don't even know if it sounded like a wail. It sounded like a wailing. Like, I cried. I am bawling. I'm wailing. I'm almost screaming, because it's just one more freaking thing. Now I have to figure out how to turn off the water. So I get under the sink with my busted body, my bad arm, my bad knees, I'm not meant for the, bending and stooping and stuff like that. So I had to get under the sink to turn off the water. I turned off the cold water. I turned off the hot water. Water is still dripping from the faucet, like pouring a thin stream. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Turn off the main. I can't twist it. I don't know if it's because it's old. I don't know if it's the way it's made. I don't know. I could not twist off the main. Not with my bad arm. Definitely not with my left arm. And I'm like, well, I could take like a hammer to it or a wrench to it. But what if I do that and it busts? So all of this is in my head. And then you're going to end up with a flooded kitchen on top of everything else. Mind you, I'm still crying. I'm still bawling, okay? So I just started cursing my life. I started cursing my existence. I started cursing every breath I'm taking. I started cursing my life. And my son is witnessing all this. At one point, he ended up walking off, which is good, but damage is done. I've already become garbage parent times 2 that day, okay? So I am beyond help at this point. He comes back down a few minutes later, and I'm trying to control myself, and I apologize. I said, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm falling apart over here. I got a lot on my mind right now. I got a lot I need to figure out, and I can't do anything about anything until Monday. And I'm not going to give him details, because he doesn't need to know. He certainly doesn't need to know about his health. I don't want him to panic, and I've already made him feel guilty about being at home when he wasn't supposed to be there. So what? I'm going to tell him that I'm super stressed out about him having to go to summer school. He's going to take that personally too. Like, oh, so I'm the cause of her stress. So I can't say anything, nor is it my place to tell a child anything. I can't say anything. So I'm just telling him, I'm sorry. I got a lot I got to deal with that I can't deal with until Monday. So this is the mama you're going to have this weekend. one more time, are you sure you don't want to go to your dad's? He's like, no, I'm fine here. So he says, Mom, why don't you pray? I started bawling again. I had gotten it kind of under control. I started crying again. And I'm like, you know what, right? Your baby, you're right. He goes, because you always say when you get like that praying helps you. Or why don't you go outside with the plants? My baby knows me so well. So I'm crying, but I'm crying out of just sheer appreciation of this kid. And I'm like, you're right, baby, you're right. I said, my spirit is destroyed right now. You're right. I'm going to pray about it. So I went outside and I did. That's what I did. I went and putted around with more of my plants. And I prayed and I came in. And at this point, we're creeping up on 6 o'clock. Okay, we're creeping up on 6 o'clock because the kid didn't wake up till 3:30. Creeping up to 6. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to worry about Monday until Monday. I'm not going to worry about nothing that I can't fix right now. What do you want to go eat? Do you want to get out of the house? Do you want to da-da-da-da-da? So we ended up going a few little random places. We went and picked up a whole bunch of food, guys. When I tell you I stress eat, he was like, we're going to go to, like, because I asked him, what did he want to eat? And he chose one. I said, you can have something from here and here and here. Really? I said, yeah. So we went and picked up so much friggin' food, guys. And then came back and we watched scary movies. And mid-first movie, I was back to normal. All that anxiety, all that angst, everything was gone. So between movie 1 and movie 2, I was still a little upset about him saying he's used to me hurting his feelings. So I asked him, I said, Caleb, earlier when I was like flipping out, you said, when I told you may want to spend time upstairs because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, you said you were used to it. Do I hurt your feelings that much? He's like, no, that's not what I meant. And mind you, he's autistic, so putting his feelings and words together has always been difficult for him. So he's like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm just used to you being cranky and getting in a bad mood sometimes. I said, are you sure that's what you meant? He said, yeah. I said, so I don't ever make you feel unwanted. I don't ever make, and I start to want to cry again. I said, I never make you feel unwanted. I never make you feel, you know, like you're not welcome in your own home or anything like that. I never make you feel like I don't like you. And I'm trying not to cry because I don't want him to say no because he thinks I'm going to cry about it. And he's like, no. He says, why are you asking me that? I said, because, you know, I was just confused. You said you were used to, I thought you meant you were used to me hurting your feelings. So I've been worried about that all day long. He's like, no, you don't hurt my feelings. I'm just used to you being the way you are. And he has seen me have meltdowns before, poor thing. I'm like, okay, so, and I apologized again. I said, okay, well, I'm glad. I said, because that was really bothering me, if, you know, that thinking that I've hurt your feelings over and over again. I said, but I am sorry. I said, I'm sorry that you got, I'm not telling this all the time I have a meltdown. I said, I'm sorry you got to have mama like me. He goes, stop saying stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with you. He's so friggin' sweet. Stop saying stuff like that. Why do you say stuff like that? There's nothing wrong with you. I'm just, oh, my baby. He's such a mama trooper, my baby. But Saturday ended up being good. Sunday, I had to go pick up his prescription. Okay. Now, I've had to switch from Walgreens to CVS because I am now working at a company that prefers to use CVS. I can still use Walgreens, but I went ahead and switched to CVS. The formulation of one of his medications is different per pharmacy. The one at Walgreens tasted of lemonade, practically friggin' Kool-Aid, and this is the medication he has to take every day. When we started getting the same medication at CVS, the manufacturer is different, so the medication was different. It's bitter. It's not lemon bitter, it's bitter. It tastes like medicine. It has a slight scent of lemon, but it's terrible because I taste his medication. Before I give my kid medication, I'm gonna taste it. This one is nasty. This one is gross. So we were 4 doses in to the very first bottle we got at CVS. And that poor baby, he is such a trooper. When I tell you, he tasted it, he immediately gags. He has a gag reflex. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. But because he knows he has to take it, and he's going to take it, and he'll bold-faced lie to me and tell me, it's okay, it doesn't taste too bad, but you're about to blow chunks everywhere. What do you mean it doesn't taste that bad? But I couldn't see him go through that every day for however long, right? I'm like, oh, great. So I took the bottle, the opened bottle, to the pharmacy. Okay? I explained the situation to the pharmacist. Not a clerk, a pharmacist. I explained the situation. I have an autistic child with sensory issues. The manufacturer of this medication is not the same manufacturer of the medication we got at Walgreens. It tastes different. Is it possible to add lemon flavoring? Because the one at Walgreens tasted practically like lemonade. He said, sure. So he looked at how much was left of the medication in the bottle to gauge how much lemon flavoring he was able to put in there without diluting or whatever. He said, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put a note in his chart that says we are to fill with this formulation, with this number. I remember exactly what he said. So he opens up his chart and he's typing, and it's going to be in chart that refill is only supposed to be refilled by that particular formulation. And then he went ahead and added lemon. Okay, he went ahead and added lemon flavoring to it. I walked off, thanked him. That was amazing. He told me, next time you come in, just remember to ask them to put in lemon flavoring. So the second time I went in, I asked for lemon flavoring. They put it in. Again, the question was, well, how much do we put in? But they did it. The third time it was time for a refill, I said, could you add lemon flavoring? Again, well, how much do we put in? And they conversed with each other and they put lemon flavoring in. Well, this time I go in, oh, by the way, could you put lemon flavoring in? No. I'm sorry? No, we don't do that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I've had it done 3 times before. No, we've never done that. I said, you've never done it. I said, but 3 other employees here have done it for me. No, we're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed, and we don't do that. I'm like, sir, I'm telling you, I've had 3 different employees at this CVS add lemon flavoring. No, we can't do that, see, because this bottle comes in from a different manufacturer and it's sealed. We cannot open this bottle and put medication in, and put any flavoring in. We cannot alter the medication. This went on back and forth with this little snot man. And it wasn't that he was telling me no. No is no. I can accept it. I'm not going to demand or expect you to do something that you're telling me you can't do. What was upsetting me was that he was telling me, no, we don't do it. We've never done it. He was calling me a liar. He was basically calling me a liar, and that was what was ticking me off. So this went on for a while, and it's his attitude, it's his little smirk on his face, it's this little no. I said, sir, if you open his chart, you will see notes in his chart that state he is to be refilled by this certain formula, and that flavor has been added. No, he's telling me no. I am telling him. It's upsetting me again. I'm telling him it's been done 3 times. The notes are in his chart. Please open his chart. No, we can't do that. We can't. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Around that time, a pharmacist that I've recognized, I've seen that pharmacist before. It's not the one who did me that favor the very first time. This is an older gentleman coming around the corner, and the little snooty face, sir, she's saying that we have put in flavoring into a medication. Well, what's the medication? And he says the medication. Do we fill it here, or does it come in from the outside? From the outside. Oh no, we can't do that. I'm like, no, we're not allowed to do that. It's illegal. And then he said what it is. It's basically tampering with medication. It's I forget what the word he said, but it's according to him, the pharmacist and this little snoot, it's illegal for them to open a sealed bottle and put anything in. So in my head, I'm thinking, that kind of makes sense, because when I came in the first time, my bottle was already opened. So maybe that's why the pharmacist put medication in. But the last 2 times, that medication was sealed. They popped it open and put in flavoring. So I'm like, I understand. I said the first time, maybe the pharmacist did a favor for me and added flavoring to medication that I brought in already opened. But the last 2 times, the clerks here opened the bottle, poured in the flavoring, even let me look at the bottle, see how it had changed color, even let me do a sniff test to see if it smelled lemony enough. So Mr. Snooty, no. Here you go again telling me that I'm wrong. Here you go again telling me that I'm lying to you. Basically, I said, sir, I would really appreciate you not doing that anymore. Stop telling me no. You're essentially calling me a liar. You're saying that what I have experienced, what has happened here 3 times, did not happen. That I'm somehow imagining it or making it. No, ma'am, I'm just saying that we don't do that here. And I'm telling you that you have. 3 employees in this pharmacy have opened and added. So the other pharmacist, well, we can't do it. We can't do it. It is illegal. And again, it's illegal. We can't do this. We can't do that. It's tampering. And I'm like, sir, if you go into his chart, you will see in the past it's been done. At this point, all I want you to do is see that it has been done. If you will just open his chart, you will see that there are notes in there regarding what I'm asking you all to do. They wouldn't open his chart, guys. They would not open his chart. So at this point, because I work in a clinic, I'm like, I know what y'all are doing. Y'all hear somebody screwed up at CVS and y'all don't want to be liable. So you're not even going to open this chart and confirm to a customer that y'all effed up. I get it because it happens at the clinic. So I said, look, I understand. I work in a clinic. I understand that some patients can come in and act entitled and want you all to bend over backwards and do things. I understand if you cannot do it, I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm fine with you all not being able to do it. But I'm upset because we had gotten loud. All of us, all 3 of us had gotten loud. I said, but I'm upset because you all are basically calling me a liar. You all are telling me that what has happened has not happened, has never happened. That's what I'm upset about. Well, if you are upset, you don't have to fill your prescriptions here. As a matter of fact, I don't want you in my store anymore. This is the main guy. And I'm immediately thinking, oh, you're trying to get rid of the problem now. I'm telling you, proof is in my son's chart that medication has been altered. You're all clenched up thinking, oh man, we done messed up. And now you want to get rid of me. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yes, I don't want you in my store anymore. You are free to use any other CVS, but you're not welcome in my store anymore. I said, that's absolutely fine. I said, I am out of here. As a matter of fact, I'm probably just going to switch back over to Walgreens because of the formulation. I said, but thank you for all of your assistance. Now, mind you, all before this, it was just loud. It was just loud. We were getting loud. Little Snooty Pants was the loudest. The pharmacist towards the end got really gruff, which pissed me off because I don't care if you are a man. And that's the vibe I was getting from these guys. I was getting the vibe that they were talking down to me because I was a female. That the louder I got, the more hysterical and typically female I was acting. But at some point during the rise of all that nonsense, I did hear myself. And I questioned myself. Girl, are you tripping? No, I'm not. I'm not. I was not demanding that they put in flavoring. I was not demanding that they break any rules. I was just pissed off because they were saying it never happened. If they had said, well, maybe it happened in the past, but unfortunately we're not able to do it again. Or if they had said, well, you know, that was then, this is now. If they had said anything like that, I would have left it alone. So as I'm walking out, I got, you know, I was over it. And I was like, thank you for all of your help. And as I'm walking out, I didn't realize that there was a line forming behind us because I was the first one in line. As I'm walking out, I turned around and I said, by the way, you may want to speak to your employees. I said, because if the rule is they are not to tamper with sealed bottles, you have 3 employees here who don't know that rule. I don't know who said it because they both had an accent. I know what that sounds like, but I don't know who said it because I'm walking away talking crap. I don't know who said it. Somebody says, we are all very aware of how to do our jobs here. That pissed me off. So I turned around and I said, only because I don't want to get those 3 employees in trouble will I not tell you who they were or describe them to you. I said, but again, you need to speak to your employees about policy. I said, because they're doing stuff wrong. And I walked off. But it wasn't as calm as I've just explained it. It was loud. And I am now told that I cannot go to that CVS anymore. I can use CVS, but I can't go to that CVS, which is fine. But I felt totally disregarded. I did, man. I felt like they were speaking that way to me because I am a female. I was just a hysterical, upset female. That's the vibe I got. But that was Sunday. And then I get home and I refuse to let those jerks upset me even more, because I don't want another meltdown. My son does not need to witness another friggin' meltdown. Mind you, while we were at the CVS, he was sitting in the chairs, where you sit to get your vaccines and everything, your shots and stuff. He was sitting there, and at one point I turned around because I was explaining that my son has sensory issues, and that's why they were putting lemon flavoring in there. I turned around because I'm talking about my kid, so I turned around. He's in the aisle. He up and he distanced himself from that nonsense. So he's like, my mom was about to trip again. So he's in the aisle, like, pretending to look at crap. So I'm like, oh my gosh. This is when I questioned myself. Like, are you being ridiculous? Are you being, extra? No, I wasn't. I don't think I was. They were getting loud. I was getting loud. Both of us. All of us were in the wrong. But they were calling me a liar. But anyway, enough of that. So, but Sunday, I refused to let it get, me in a tither. So Sunday ended up being a very nice day. Monday, though, on my way into work, I feel the anxiety in my chest. I've been feeling the anxiety in my chest. I was feeling fluttering. I was having a bit of a headache. You're not gonna go? I was having a bit of a headache. I wasn't feeling right. And then I remembered, this is what it feels like when you're about to have a panic attack. I haven't had a panic attack in a while. And I started getting short of breath. I started taking shallow breaths. I started to get a little woozy. I said, girl, you are not gonna have a friggin' panic attack while you are driving. So I rolled the windows down and I took in some deep breaths, and I was able to feel a little better. So I make it to work, and I start noticing that everything at work is really, really loud. Everything at work is really, really bright. Everything at work is irritating me and agitating me. Just like the sounds is just like really, really loud. So I sit down and I'm trying to work, and my chest gets really, really tight, and I feel the fluttering, and I'm like, oh, no. We ain't got time for this crap. You need to go get you some, fill your cup, get some ice water, So I get up to go fill my cup, and for some reason, I feel like I should go distract myself. I'm going to go mess around with my boss. I am drawn to this lady. I'll go into her doorway and just kind of try and start conversation with her, whatever, just as a distraction. But as soon as she looks at you, it all comes out. I friggin' lost my marbles in her office. She's like, what's wrong? Close the door, close the door. So I closed the door, and I went down the whole line of everything. Worried about his health, having to try and get him to summer school, trying to get him registered for the school bus, getting kicked out of CVS, my friggin' faucet breaking off in my hand. It was just, and she's like, first and foremost, she goes, I want you to understand that your child comes first. She goes, I don't want you to worry about being late for work, having to leave early for work when it comes to that little boy. He is top priority. I need you to get that off of your plate. The concern about being late to work or having to leave work is not an issue. She said, don't even worry about that. She said, and then she gave me some, she suggested that I speak to one of the nurses or one of the doctors that we work with in regards to the lab results. She goes, just so I know it's not his doctor, but at least you'll get some kind of insight as to what it could mean. And then she was just giving me all this advice. She goes, and then maybe that'll take some of the pressure off of that. And then, so she's just going down the checklist, of trying to make things better, which she always does. So by the time I walked out of there, I get back to my desk. It'd been like an hour, guys. I'd been in there having a whole fit for like an hour. Not even a fit. I was just falling apart for about an hour. And I get there and I noticed that his GI had called. Now, because I came in that morning and I called his doctor and they hadn't received the results yet, I went online and got online with the GI and sent the numbers to her. And she responded right away. While I was in there having a fit, I came back. She had called, and then she messaged me on my chart, and she said that the numbers, while they are elevated, is not anything that she wants me to worry about right now. She said, yes, they're elevated, but more than likely it's because he is malnourished and failures to thrive. He's been diagnosed as malnourished and failures to thrive again. She goes, that can affect the red blood cell count significantly. She said, so I don't want you to worry about the C word, the Luca word. She said, no, that's worst case scenario. She says, right now, what we're going to do, and she ran down this plan of what she wants to do, and in 3 months, we're going to check his blood again. Then around 4 o'clock that afternoon, his doctor finally calls, his doctor's nurse finally calls and basically tells me the same thing in regards to the red blood cell count. They wanted to check his blood in 6 months, but his GI is going to order blood work in 3 months. But they're both pretty much on the same page, and the nurse is going to relay the information that GI wants to do for Caleb to the doctor. But the nurse said it sounds like a really good plan, that she feels that the GI's plan is a really good plan. So that was on Monday. Tuesday I was supposed to send little dude to school, but they still hadn't figured out the bus situation. He still wasn't registered, so I'm like, no, he's not going to be stranded out there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put in the extra effort when the friggin' district isn't making the effort. So I didn't send them. Instead, I went to the school. I went to the school myself. And if you're my friends on Facebook, I posted some stuff like just hoping that somebody didn't set me off, because everybody's setting me off lately. But they were able to make him go from pending registration to approved, but they still haven't put the bus routes in. They had his pickup address wrong. They had the school bus picking him up this morning across the street in some apartments where there may or may not be suspicious activity. My baby is not going to be waiting across the street, have to cross 4 lanes of morning traffic at some apartments where sketchy stuff is happening. It's not going to happen. So I'm like, great, I'll just take him to school in the morning, and hopefully, because the address for pickup was wrong, but the address for drop off was right. I said, I'll drop him off in the morning today, and then he'll get on the bus in the afternoon, and they'll drop him off at home. But I wasn't comfortable that was going to happen, because I have no faith in them right now. But right before I dropped him off, I called transportation. They said they were going to fix the pickup address today, and that he would absolutely be able to get on the bus home this afternoon. So we'll see. I took him to school. I dropped him off way earlier than I should have, but I had to be at work. There were a few little kids out there scattered waiting at 7 in the morning. They don't open the doors until 7:30. There were like 2 other kids out there, so he was the 3rd kid out there waiting. And I'm hoping that he can get on the bus and come home this afternoon. If not, his dad said that he would immediately leave work and pick him up. He'd still have to wait a little bit, but he could get him around 4:30 as opposed to 6, and just drop him off at home. He goes, I'll take him out to eat or something, and then just drop him off at home. But that's what he says. I don't have any faith in him either, because he says he's going to pick him up on the weekends and doesn't. So where is my badge? So I'm not as stressed out as I was. I actually was able to get through this video without getting too upset. I mean, I got upset about the pharmacy again, but I was finally able to get through this video and give you guys an update. Oh my gosh, where's my badge? I can't get into the parking garage without my badge. So that's the update, guys. Where is my badge? That is the update. That is what's going on with Melly this week. So hopefully baby gets home safe. And and then I got a situation happening with my leg. I think I may have another DVT, and my manager and my lead are like, you need to go in and have that checked out, because I have a history of DVT, deep vein thrombosis, and those blood clots can travel into your lungs, into your brain, and you stroke out, or you know you die. So I'm having issues with my foot. My foot's been hurting, and I thought it was because I stepped on something in the garage when I was in there a couple weekends ago. I was in there barefooted like a moron trying to do some straightening up, and I was in there barefoot, and I stepped on a water hose. I stepped on a couple of things. So I thought maybe that's why my foot's hurting, but now there's swelling and tingling associated. So it's either my diabetes, which has gone unchecked. I didn't do anything different in the last 3 months, and I'm due to go back on the 10th for my diabetic checkup. I know, just life got in the way, guys. Just life. So since I'm going in on the 10th, I'm going to have them check out my foot as well. And I almost canceled the appointment because I have a job. I'm supposed to be at work, you know. But my lead and my manager are like, no, you need to have that checked out because that's nothing to play around with. So on the 10th, I'm going for that, and we'll see what happens there. But it's one thing after another, guys. It's one thing after another. But it's okay, I said, because I know I'm not alone in any of this. I know I'm not alone, not spiritually, not physically. I got family, I got God, so I got friends. I have friends. So that's what's going on. I'll keep y'all updated on that. I never even gave y'all info on my last visit 3 months ago. I kept meaning to, but honestly, I'm ashamed that I haven't taken care of my health better. But I'll definitely give y'all an update after the 10th. But I'm at work. I hope this wasn't too for y'all. Again, I'm so glad that I got through it without the emotion, because I tried to do it like 3 times, and I'd start crying when I started talking about the guilt, the mommy guilt, and I started getting really super loud and angry when I was talking about the pharmacy, and it's just, it was a mess, and it was like way over an hour. What are we at right now? 40-something minutes. I may be able to edit this down to something manageable. But guys, I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday. Pray that my baby gets home safely. And did I miss my parking spot? I don't even know where I am. Am I on the right floor? I will talk to you guys very soon. I think I have another video in the works already. I have so many little bits and pieces of video in here. But I will talk to you guys very soon. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And until my next go around, guys, I love y'all bunches. Bye.